Have you ever been pushed so far that even the kindest part of you just snapped? Because that's exactly what happened to me. One moment, I was just another tired factory worker trying to survive my shift, and the next, I was watching someone gasp for air on the lunchroom floor because they messed with the wrong woman's food. This isn't a story I'm proud of, but it's one I'll never forget. If you've ever dreamed of serving justice to someone who wronged you, hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in, because this is one of the most intense, unexpected revenge stories you'll hear today. 3 years ago, I was working in a huge factory, the kind of place that never sleeps. Machines hummed day and night, forklifts beeped down endless aisles, and the air always smelled like oil and sweat. We were hundreds of people under one roof, but it didn't feel like a family. The factory hired through 5 different temp agencies, so the faces around me changed constantly. You could make a friend one week and find their locker empty the next. I got used to it. I wasn't there to make friends anyway, just to work, earn my paycheck, and go home. But that routine, that fragile sense of normal, cracked the day someone started stealing my lunch. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Maybe someone grabbed my container by accident. It's a big fridge, crowded and messy. But after the third day of opening that door and finding nothing, not even crumbs, I realized what was happening. Someone was stealing from me every single day. Now, you have to understand what a 12-hour shift does to you. You don't live for paychecks or breaks. You live for that one sacred moment at lunch. You count the hours until you can finally sit, stretch your legs, and taste something that isn't vending machine junk. So when that moment gets stolen, it cuts deep. Day after day, I was left staring into an empty fridge, my stomach growling and my blood boiling. I'd sit at the break room table, pretending to scroll on my phone, but really, I was just watching everyone, trying to figure out who it was. There was no pattern. Different shifts, different people, always chaos. Nobody knew anyone well enough to even point fingers. But by the end of that week, something inside me snapped. The hunger, the exhaustion, the disrespect, it all blended into one clear thought. That night, I went home and stood in my kitchen, staring at my fridge like it was a crime scene. I thought about every possible way to stop the thief. Maybe write a note, maybe hide a camera, maybe even booby-trap the container somehow. None of it felt right. I didn't want to warn them. I wanted them to learn. Then I saw it. A small glass jar sitting on the top shelf of my spice rack. A jar I hadn't opened in months. Carolina Reaper peppers. If you don't know what those are, they're not just spicy. They're fire in solid form. One bite can make your throat seize up, your eyes water, your skin tingle. It's pain. Pure, beautiful burning pain. And in that moment, I knew exactly what to do. I decided to make a lunch that would be impossible to resist and unforgettable to steal. So I got to work. I marinated steak in lime juice and garlic until the smell alone made my mouth water. I grilled it perfectly, seared edges, juicy inside, and filled soft tortillas with it. Then I made a special batch of pico de gallo, chopping tomatoes, onions, and cilantro, and finally mincing those Carolina Reapers so fine they blended right in. To anyone looking, it was just a colorful, delicious salsa. But I knew better. That salsa was a loaded weapon. When I was done, I carefully placed my fajitas in a clear Tupperware bowl, added lime wedges and a sprinkle of cilantro on top, and closed it tight. It looked like something out of a food commercial. And the next morning, I walked into that factory with a smile. I put my lunch right in the center of the fridge, where it couldn't be missed. Then I went to work like nothing was different. But inside, I was electric. Nervous. Excited. Terrified. An hour passed. Then I heard it, a sharp, panicked scream echoing from the break room. At first, I thought someone got hurt on the job. People shouted, chairs scraped, someone yelled for help. My stomach dropped as I ran toward the noise. And there she was. A woman from one of the temp agencies, short, dark hair, someone I'd barely spoken to, was lying on the floor, gasping, clutching her throat. Her face was red, eyes streaming tears, and she couldn't breathe. People were rushing to her side, shouting to call an ambulance. That's when I saw it. My Tupperware, sitting open on the table, empty. It hit me all at once. She was the thief. And my lesson had gone too far. The peppers had triggered her asthma. She was rushed to the hospital while everyone stood there in shock, not knowing what had happened. I stood frozen, heart pounding, guilt clawing at my chest. She was okay in the end. They said the medics got to her in time. But that day changed everything. Nobody ever mentioned the stolen lunch again. Nobody accused anyone. Nobody had to. And the Lunch Box Bandit? She never came back. After that, no one's food ever went missing again. Not mine, not anyone's. People even started labeling their lunches better, like we'd all silently agreed that the fridge was now sacred ground. I never told anyone the truth. Not a word. But every time I opened that fridge and saw my lunch sitting untouched, I felt this quiet mix of relief and guilt. Did I go too far? Probably. But after 6 long, hungry days of disrespect, that fiery revenge felt like justice, at least in that moment. I've thought about that day a lot. About how easy it is for small acts of selfishness to spiral into something serious. And about how revenge, once it starts, has a way of burning everyone, not just the target. Still, I can't deny it. The Lunch Box Bandit picked the wrong meal to steal. If this story made your jaw drop, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, what would you have done if someone kept stealing your food at work? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this one, where karma always finds a way to serve justice. Sometimes extra spicy.